Guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking my favorite topic, and that is productivity. As you guys know, on a daily basis I have so many demands that compete for my time. I have an 8-month-old child who obviously requires a lot of love and attention. I have a full-time business where I have over 10 freelancers that work for me, and I also have a YouTube channel and a full-time job, of which I'm currently on maternity leave. And so I have had to really fine-tune my productivity and really think about the way that I do things and the approach that I take to productivity. I came across this article yesterday about Grace Beverley's tips for productivity. You may or may not know who Grace Beverley is, and you also may be wondering how we align in any way, but actually she has also had to deal with competing demands. I've been following her channel since she was in Oxford University, and it was really inspiring to see how she juggled a full-time university degree, which in Oxford University, which is like having a child. Honestly, their degree is crazy in terms of like demand and time and, you know, weekend study and exams and essays and everything, with running and kind of founding a business that's doing really well. And so one thing that I love doing is I love picking apart people's tips and routines for how they go about their day. Now, Grace Beverley has a fitness business, has fitness businesses, so nothing related to my kind of stuff, but it's really interesting to kind of compare and look and learn from those that are doing better than you. The article that I read was featured in Business Insider, and she gave a few tips on how she manages to stay so productive and how she managed to be so hardworking and dedicated to both her degree and also her businesses over the past couple of years. And I thought I'd react to it because I thought it'd be interesting to see sort of, you know, my take on them and whether they work for me too. And if you'd like to see more from me, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to join the family, and let me know what your #1 productivity tip is. So the first thing she mentioned is prioritizing, and she said to take time to prioritize and make sure that you do the most important thing first. And I completely agree, and I think I mentioned this on my Instagram today actually. Make sure that you're doing the most important task first. Now, this may not be the easiest, it may not be the nicest, the most pleasurable, or the thing that you want to do, but by doing the most important thing first, you're actually prioritizing, and it means that you've done your main goal and your main task for the day, and for the rest of the day you can kind of just build on working towards your other goals. But actually, by prioritizing, you get that first thing done. I need to make sure that if someone's requested a 24-hour piece of work to be edited, it is edited in 24 hours. So I don't have time to kind of hang around for 6-7 hours and wait for time to pass, because that's 24 hours being cut in. So really prioritizing helps. And actually, I have a video about this where you can draw this table where it says important, not important, priority, not a priority, and you kind of fill that in to show yourself which task and what thing is the most important, but also is also a priority, and you do that bit first. She then mentions writing daily goals. So I've recently learnt that this is your best friend, a post-it note. And this is the to-do list that I wrote today, and on my to-do list I wrote 5 things down. So not too many things that I know that I need to get done by the end of the day, not too easy, also not too difficult. So they're tasks that I know that I can manage, I know that I can achieve if I put in the work that I should be putting in. And on this I said to film 2 videos, I said to email someone, and I said to onboard my new editors, and to script my following video. And of those things now I've done 2, and this is the 3rd thing that I'm doing. So I'm almost at the end of my list, and I'm also almost at the end of the day. So really writing those goals helps you visualize what it is that you need to do. And I find it very difficult to get through a day and feel like I've had a successful day without actually visualizing and sort of writing down what those things are. I've gone back to basics. Like, I used to use planners and like, I don't know what else, apps and all sorts of things, but actually this is the best friend. I just write it down. When I finish, I scrunch it up, and then I start a new one tomorrow. And it's just such an easy way. I stick this on my laptop or on my desk so I can see it at all times of the day, and it's such a helpful and easy tool. And her 3rd tip is to be SMART. Now, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And so what that means is you're not just setting goals where you're saying, right, buy a house. That's not a SMART goal. A SMART goal would be to maybe do some research on mortgage brokers, or maybe do some research on how much you can be lent, or maybe look at the top 5 places that, like, actually giving yourself a goal where you are able to say, right, today I did do this thing, today I didn't do this thing, and you can actually measure it, and it works towards that goal. So again, looking at my list, let's take a look at what I said. I said onboard new editors, that's my goal. And then I said add to email distribution list. So that's a very specific thing. So I know by the end of the day, I need to add them to my distribution list for the emails, and I also need to onboard them by sending them the details of how they kind of get work and how they get paid, and to get their bank details, etc. And that's something I've already done in the morning, and I know that I've done it. So it makes, these kind of goals are clear, and it means that you are really able to sort of be productive and work towards something more specific. Email productivity. And it's actually funny that I'm reading this now, because last night at like 11:30 p.m. I was planning an email productivity video that will come out hopefully next week, at the end of next week, for my next Sunday video, and it's all about how to be productive with your emails. And I've completely transformed how I utilize my emails, and email productivity is so important, and it's so underrated and not really spoken about that much. If you think about how many times you open your emails up in a day, it's ridiculous. And actually research shows that, and this is something I was reading yesterday, there was some research done by McKinsey, a consultancy company, and they showed that when you look at your emails, it takes you more than 58 seconds to go back to what you were originally doing. So that sounds like not too much time, so about a minute, right? But imagine you check your emails on average about 100 times a day. That's 100 minutes. That's about almost 2 hours of time wasted that you haven't been able to return back to the original thought. You're disrupted, you're not in that flow, you're not in the zone. And so being able to manage how you look at your emails is so crucial for just overall productivity. And one thing that I do is I try to look at set timings on my emails. So the first thing that I do is look at my email first thing in the morning, because like I said, for my business it's time crucial, so I have to do that in the first thing in the morning. And then I might look at it maybe every couple of hours, so maybe like every 11, and then maybe 1. One thing that I used to do, I don't do anymore, but I used to do, is turn all my notifications off on my phone. So the only notification I have on my phone at the moment is my WhatsApp conversation, so family and friends can message me and I can get in contact with them, and currently emails. That's it. I have no social media. I only have my work email, and that's it. Again, it's just to help me separate and to help me stay on track with the task that I'm doing, and to not get distracted with an email coming in or something that doesn't need to be answered in this particular moment. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a video on like sort of the things that I do to help me with my email productivity. So again, if you have any tips, do leave them down below. I'd love to think about them and include them in the video for next week too. Her next tip is to set boundaries, to have time to rest and reset. So she mentions that in 2020, she set some boundaries, such as not working on the weekends, and just making time to actually take time off and not work. And I struggle with this, I have to admit. Like I said, because I'm currently on mat leave, every day is a Saturday. I'm not working at a formal job, so I don't have to sign in, or don't have to like have meetings with people at work and things like that. So for me right now, the whole week is just a blur. I can't tell you what day of the week it is. And I think more so because I love what I do, I love my business, I love my channel, and I love everything that I do on the side, it doesn't seem like work. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like a hobby. It feels like I'm getting paid to do something that I really love and I enjoy. And so I find it quite difficult to segregate that, the work time and the stop work now time. And I'll be completely honest, if you're a proofreader, if you work for me, then you'll know that I'm sending emails at 11 p.m. because that's when my son sleeps. And so there's really no distinction, I guess, in terms of when work stops. And that is something that I think I need to work on this year. But again, in order to do that, I'll need to maybe hire someone, an assistant, to work for the page doctor, because the company is so time sort of sensitive. If I'm not replying to emails after 6 p.m, that's a lot of people that have emailed in the evening who won't get a response to the next day, and that's time lost. So I think I'll need to think about how that's going to work. But at the moment, I'm actually okay with it. I have no problem with no boundaries. But I think I've got boundaries on social media more so. So for me, I'm not scrolling all day. Like I only come on, I post, and then I go. I never scroll, hardly ever. So I think for me, that's where my boundaries are more on social media. Whereas when it comes to work, I'll happily do that. I'll happily do that all day. And then her last tip is balance is a myth. Do what's best for you and what works for you. And I agree. I found it again quite hard to have a balance, but I've always tried to remind myself that actually my priority is, you know, my son, giving him my time. Before that it was, you know, being with my husband and like, you know, relaxing and chilling with him. Before that it was spending time with my family, having dinner with them. Before that it was my PhD and making sure that it had enough time. So I think with everything that you have, you need to be aware of what your priority is and making sure that you give that priority its due, its worth. And you know, if I get to the end of the day and I feel like I haven't given my son what he deserved that day, it makes me feel quite guilty. And for that reason, it very rarely happens. I'll read him books every day. I'll cook him food every day. I'll play with him every single day, regardless of what other competing demands I have. And that's because I've told myself that this is my priority. And then after that is when other things come. So while he's playing and doing something else, I'll reply to my emails, or while he's sleeping, I'll film a video like this. And so I think it's really important to prioritize and make sure that you know what your priority is. There will never be balance. Like, I could always do more with my channel, but because I can't, or not because I can't, but because I've given my priority to something else, that's why that balance isn't there. I could probably do a lot better in my career, but again, I don't care for that. I want something else to do better. And so for me, you have to make sure that you're always balancing depending on what your priority is. So just make it crystal clear in your head what your priority is. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. I mean, I completely agree with most of her priority tips. I think they're quite sort of general anyway, and I don't think they're quite specific or anything novel. Let me know your biggest productivity tip. If you could give one productivity tip to someone, what would that tip be? And if you like this video, then I would absolutely love it if you could subscribe to my channel. We hit 100k at the end of 2020. We are going to hit 200k at the end of this year. So yeah, subscribe to see more from me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.